Les Miserables. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, but if I'm not, let's just call it Les Mis. Two words that pretty much anybody in this activity will instantly be able to hear the melody in their head. It's a Broadway musical that was based on a 19th century novel by Victor Hugo that explores post-revolutionary France. It explores the story of Jean Valjean seeking redemption in a world that simply doesn't want to forgive. It's got a cast of amazing characters and an absolutely heart-wrenching story. And in today's episode, we're going to look at not one, but two versions of Les Mis that were brought to the drum corps field. So sit back, enjoy, and welcome to the Marching Arts Network. And welcome back to the channel. My name is Kanan. For those of you who are visiting for the first time, welcome. And for those of you who are returning visitors, welcome back. Those of you who watch the podcast will remember that we did say in the podcast, drop us some comments below and let us know what you'd like us to react to, and we'll do so. And Mr. at JM78902, today is your lucky day. You did give us a number of options to look at. You said that you were currently obsessed with the opener from 2003 Blue Nights. Well, I am too, because that is a piece of music called Cavalsviri. I'll give you a little bit of a taste of the original right here. And Cavalsviri is Bulgarian folk music. Feel free to go down the rabbit hole of Bulgarian folk music on YouTube and thank me later. It's an amazing, amazing genre of music. But we will definitely be looking at 2003 Blue Nights in a future episode, because I too like that show. That being said, you did also mention 2013 Santa Clara Vanguard, and that's what we're going to look at in today's episode. When I set out to do this video, I originally set out just to do a simple reaction video, job done. But then I got to thinking about it. I was like, 2013 Vanguard. I like that show. I don't know if I love that show. And then it got me thinking, Les Mis, 1989 Cadets of Bergen County, because that version of Les Mis I absolutely love. I like Vanguards a lot, but I love Cadets, and I thought that it would be a good opportunity for us to do a back-to-back reaction, and that's what we're going to do in this video. And I will explain to you why I like Vanguard, but I love Cadets. So without further ado, before we get going though, if you are not a subscriber, I know it's crazy to think that 69% of the people that watch our videos do not subscribe. But if you aren't a subscriber, we'd really appreciate it if you just hit the subscribe button down below. Helps us out an absolute ton. We're really trying to grow this channel. Last year, we managed to add over 1,000 new subscribers during the drum corps season, which was awesome. I appreciate that on the YouTube galaxy, we're just a tiny little bit of galactic dust floating in the ether. I completely get that. But for us to grow our channel by a third in a drum corps season was absolutely, we loved it. So, and we'd like to carry that on. So please hit the subscribe button. If there's anything you'd like us to react to that isn't in the channel already, it probably is, but we'll look at it again. Drop a comment down below. If you think I'm talking out my ass, drop a comment down below as well. But yeah, so without further ado, I will shut up and let's get on with it. I'm going to press a button here that's going to make me look like a proper YouTube content creator. Watch this. Boom. Hey, there we go. So 2013 Santa Clara Vanguard Les Mis. I could go through the repertoire, but there's really no point. They basically did the entire musical in 11 minutes. So without further ado, let's crack on.
Drum Majors Noe Gomez and Colin Kidd. Is your corps ready?
Of course they're ready. They're always ready. I do like that uniform an awful lot. I think that it thematically fits with the story of Les Mis very well.
International is proud to present the Santa Clara Vanguard.
This is about the time that uniforms started going away. You know, I think 2013 was the last year that everybody wore a uniform. Great opening statement. Would look down. So let me ask you this, straight leg or bicycle step? I've always liked bicycle step, if I'm honest with you, and I think Vanguard does it very well. And it'll be a sad day, the day that Vanguard doesn't feel the symbol line. May that day never come. Super solid battery, as you'd always expect with Vanguard. Nice rifles. The guard was pretty solid this year as well. There's a lot of Vanguard symbology in this show. So obviously the wedge and everybody pointing their horns down the wedge. To me is a throwback to 1999. You'll see that they write VAN on the field. You'll see that they do the Vanguard shield a couple of times. As well as the diagonal company front as well. Lots of Vanguard visual signatures. Like, there you go. Almost like the designers are trying to see how many Vanguard yells could they get in one show. Nice octave splits there too, Buzz. Well done. Vanguard shield. Looks like it blew out the sound levels a little bit here on the meter. Let me just turn that down just a touch. So I do appreciate one thing that Vanguard does quite a bit throughout this show is they use a large portion of the field, which always makes me happy. We've got 16 busloads of members, however many it is these days. You know, let's use them. Let's fill the field. I love that. We're using a full 100 yards of field here, which makes me chuffed to bits. Like the different elements introducing one day more here. Start with the mellophone, hit the duet, and then the dueling brass sections here. We're setting up the conflict. And now what we're actually doing is we're setting up the Vanguard yell here. Vanguard! Diagonal company front, again reminiscent of 1988, 89, the end of Phantom of the Opera. It's a move that Vanguard's used a number of times. Very, very simple move, but very effective as well. Again, we're using a whole bunch of the stage, which I like. Very exposed visual form there. Almost like we're daring the judges to find something wrong. People don't realize something as simple as geometric shape on the field. The demand level for those is extremely high. Thumbs up if you think the percussion judges should be back on the field. I do. Another thing I'd like to say as well, with Vanguard, they're tenors. I don't know if it's the instruments. I know they're the only corps that uses Dynasty drums. But I've always liked how Vanguard's tenors are tuned. Is that the tuning or is it the drum? Almost. We were almost there. Like 95% there. A little bit squiffy in the chromatic runs going up at the end there. When I say a little bit squiffy as well, it's all relative. I mean, they scored like a 96.5, so a little bit squiffy when compared to the three corps above them, I should say. This is my favorite piece of music from Les Mis right here. Bring him home. In 2025, that solo I can almost guarantee would be played on a flugelhorn. And while I like it on a mellophone, and I understand why we performed it on a mellophone because it's an exposed solo, I don't think we were really individually miking brass instruments in 2013. That came probably around 2015, 16. Really, I think it came with the kinetic noise and the blue coats. But I personally would have preferred that solo to have been played on a baritone, because it's obviously, I think it matches the tenor of Jean Valjean. Like I said, I understand why we played it on a mellophone, because I think a mellophone will cut through the noise a bit better. Nice visual moments here. I love the transition from this fleur-de-lis into the Vanguard shield that's coming up right here. That's cool. It was a very well-marched show. And I appreciate their commitment to actual forms as opposed to blobs. Yeah, so that is 2013 Vanguard. Now, I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to go straight into Cadets, and I'll give you my thoughts afterwards. So here we go. So let's go ahead and just get going with the Cadets. The Garfield logo there, I think that was pretty cool. Goosebumps already. Goosebumps already. Straight from the off, you hear the difference. You hear the difference of playing the music and playing the music clean and playing the story. And both are great. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Cadets were perfect. They're not. They're dirty. Visually, they're super dirty. But my point is that if you're going to play Les Mis, let's be honest, you're probably not going to win a championship. So you can either play the music or you can play the show. And Cadets chose to play the show. And I think that the imperfection, the fact that this for 11 minutes feels like it's going to go off the rails, personally, I think that's what makes this perfect. Now, the keen-eyed of you may have noticed that the flags that the guard is spinning are French flags, but they're not. If you look at them closely, they have a yellow stripe on the end of them. And the reason for that was, I'm not sure if it's still a case, but back then there was a rule that you cannot spin a national flag. And I believe at the beginning of the season, they came out just spinning French flags and got penalized. For those of you that are curious, yes, that was as loud as you think it was. I'm old enough to have actually seen this show live and saw it live a bunch of times. That was super loud. classic Cadets design philosophy to drill as well. Cameraman, you had one job. I'll bet this was a riot to march. I really do. I'll bet this was absolutely fun to march. Although they're all skinny, which tells me that it was probably a year that the cadets weren't being fed very well. Back then, they used to only eat like every other year. Funny thing as well, as I mentioned, I'm old enough to have seen this. I'm also old enough to realize that everybody you're looking at in this video is probably a grandparent now. Nice contras. You notice it said contras and not tubas because those are contra-based tubas. Or sorry, contra-based bugles. We're still in the key of G. We're still in 2-valve. There's no amplification here. This is proper old school drum corps. Not saying one is better than the other, though I do think G bugles are, but I also do appreciate and like modern drum corps as well. But man, if you've never had the opportunity to stand in front of a G horn line, you missed out on life. I think the Marines are still on G. I hope they are, at least. So I think we were still at 128 members for a drum corps back then. So you're talking brass lines in the size of around 65, maybe 70 at a push. And I guarantee you there isn't a G horn line from back in the day that isn't louder than every drum corps now. More goosebumps. You can feel the pain right there. He's not hitting the notes perfectly. In fact, he's playing on the back half of the beat. And again, that imperfection is what makes it perfect. Now we're going to really start cranking it up here. Come on, mellophones. Oh, come on, mellophones. show was just so aggressive. Love that moment. One of my favorite moments of the year. I do remember though. I can't remember what it was. It might have been somewhere in Iowa or something like that. We were at a show and Cadets were there. I remember watching from the back stands, and the stadium, the stands were like right up on the front sideline, and the guard person tossed that flag to the drum major, got caught in the wind, ended up about 10 rows up in the stands, and this kid, probably about 9-10 years old, actually caught it and stood up and did the same pose with the flag that the Cadets drum major did. So going back to that comparison though with Vanguard played this piece of music with the same mellophone soloist, and just listen to how different it sounds. You can feel the pain in the tone. It's something as simple as a small vibrato. Echoing the peace sign we saw in the opening set. And no, your ears aren't deceiving you. There's two pieces of music being played at the same time. Two different tempos. Particularly like the baritones here playing the part of Javert. Okay, cameraman, it's your shot at redemption here. There we go. Yes. So there you go. 1989, Cadets, Bergen County. As I said, I missed that drum corps so much. And that is a perfect example of not knowing what you've got until it's gone. I know that Legacy is trying to get up and running and hopefully revive the corps in some realm. I don't think we'll ever repeat that, though. I think part of the reason, though, why that show works, though, is that Les Mis is a gritty tale, and the Cadets were a gritty drum corps. You look at that drum corps, they were driving around in the crappiest buses. They literally ate well every other year. They were wearing uniforms that were 25 years old. They were wool. They were held together with safety pins and baling wire. And you look at the instruments on the field, there's very few matching instruments anywhere, and they made these beautiful noises. So, when I look at the two, like I said, I think that the key difference is that Vanguard played the music, whereas Cadets played the feeling. And I'll take feeling over clean every day of the week. So, what do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let us know in the comments below. there's anything you'd like me to react to, please let me know. I'll see what I can do. I will be doing a video for 2003 Blue Knights because, as I said, I'm obsessed with Caval Sperry. Until then, uh, see you next time. That'll be all for now. Be kind to each other. I know times are trying at the moment, so let's be kind to each other. Anyway, ciao.